Thought of the day. The left in the United States is a cult. Now, there are 1,000 things that I could point out that are very, very cult-like on the left. And that is not to say that there aren't ways in which people would point out that the right is a cult. But we're going to talk about the left today. And the one phrase I want you to go and Google right now, if you want, pause the video, is no contact movement. Now, this is something that has become very, very popular on the left. It started to gain prominence around 2017 as a very left-wing ideology, but I'm sure it was around a little bit before then. But here's the thing. The idea of no contact as a movement, as a strategy that is employed by organizations, is something that really started to gain prominence as something that was at the very least known about by most people if they paid attention. Started to come about in the 1950s and 60s. And while I'm sure this idea, this tactic of organizations of one shape or form encouraging the use of this has been around for a very long time, it really started to come to prominence, as I said, in the 50s and 60s because of cults. Because there was a big, sharp rise in cults, religious cults and things like that, political cults, in the 1950s and 60s in the United States, and that gained prominence and continued to grow throughout the 1980s. Obviously, cults are still a thing worldwide, but this was kind of the era from the 1950s to the 1980s where they were very prominent and became very popular as kind of alternatives to other more typical religious or political organizations. And this idea of no contact was a tactic that was used by cults for one primary reason. And it was because once you had somebody in your grasp of religious or political thinking, right, you can't guarantee that that person is stupid, right? You can't guarantee that that person might not have a streak of common sense and rationality within them that might get triggered and influenced by somebody using rational, common sense thought and arguments against what the cult is teaching them. And it's very telling of the left that this has become a national movement for the left in the United States. I mean, there are actually now websites devoted to the no contact movement, specifically geared towards people on the left to get them to try and remove themselves from whether it be friends or family or whatever, any sort of relationships where they might be getting contradictory information from somebody else, information that contradicts what the left-wing political machine wants to feed them. This is clearly documented, psychologically enforced, cult-like tactics. I mean, that's what this is. The left is a cult. And again, we could sit there and point to a whole laundry list of other things that the left does that puts them squarely in the category of a cult. But I think this one's the most telling. When you've got an entire population of people in a country, a large population of people in a country, either falling for this no contact movement or actively pushing for it onto other people that fall within their political spectrum, encouraging them to push away from family members and friends who might think differently. Clear sign that the left is a cult. Also, clear sign that the left wants to push for abnormal social norms. I'm sorry, but it is a social norm throughout all of human history that you're going to have family and friends that disagree with you on things. And that's okay. That's normal. That's just being human and having people who have different experiences and different opinions on things. And when one side tries to say you should cut it off, don't even entertain the idea of listening to somebody else give their opinion. You should cut off all contact with that, whether that be family, friends, or like they've tried to do with people like Charlie Kirk, where they want to make it to where you can't even listen to another person's opinion online. That goes back to all the censoring on YouTube and Google and Twitter and Instagram and everywhere else for the last 10 years. As Destiny said, they want to make conservatives afraid to go to conservative events for fear they might die. This is all a part of that cultish no contact movement. The cult, the left in the United States, cannot risk having common sense and rationality preached to its members. For if it is, they might actually change their mind and leave the left. Anyway, just thought that might be something you guys would want to think about. Appreciate you watching.